Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I just wanted to take a moment to say a huge thank you to all of my amazing subscribers. Your support means the world to me, and I couldn't do this without you. If you're new here, make sure to hit that subscribe button and join our awesome community. Let's dive into today's video. In the near future, the sprawling city of New Detroit stands as a monument to technological advancement and economic disparity. Neon lights flicker above dilapidated buildings, casting an eerie glow on the bustling streets below, where citizens hustle to survive in a world dominated by cybernetics and artificial intelligence. In the heart of this chaotic metropolis, a highly skilled cybernetics detective named Marcellus Mars Blackwell navigates the thin line between humanity and machine. As a leading member of the elite cybercrime task force, Mars has seen the best and worst of what technology has to offer. His body is a testament to this duality, enhanced with state-of-the-art cybernetic implants that give him superhuman abilities, yet at a cost to his own sense of identity. Mars is haunted by memories of his past, fragments of a life before the enhancements, a time when he was just a man trying to make a difference in his community. These memories drive him, pushing him to uncover the truth behind a series of high-profile cybernetic crimes that have plagued the city. The perpetrators, known as the Neon Shadows, are a rogue group of hackers and cybernetic outcasts who challenge the corrupt corporations that rule New Detroit with an iron fist. The leader of the Neon Shadows, a brilliant and enigmatic hacker named Alia, shares a complicated history with Mars. They grew up together in the same neighborhood, dreaming of a better future. But while Mars chose to work within the system, Alia decided to fight against it, believing that true change could only come from tearing down the existing order. As Mars delves deeper into the case, he uncovers a conspiracy that goes far beyond the Neon Shadows. He learns that powerful corporate entities are manipulating the city's technology to control and oppress its citizens, using cybernetic enhancements as a means of surveillance and domination. The lines between ally and enemy blur as Mars confronts the dark forces behind the scenes. In a climactic showdown, Mars and Alia are forced to confront their past and their beliefs. Together, they must navigate a world where humanity is intertwined with technology, where every step forward comes with unforeseen consequences. Their journey challenges them to question what it means to be human in an age of machines, and whether they can reconcile their differences to fight for a common cause. Neon Soul is a story of resilience and resistance, set against the backdrop of a futuristic America, where black voices rise to challenge the status quo. It's a tale of identity, loyalty, and the enduring spirit of a community determined to reclaim its future from the clutches of technological oppression. Chapter 1: The Rust District. The night sky over New Detroit was perpetually smeared with the glow of neon, a constant reminder of the city's ceaseless energy and its relentless grip on progress. Mars Blackwell maneuvered his hoverbike through the labyrinthine streets of the Rust District, a sector of the city that seemed forgotten by time and progress. Here, amidst the crumbling infrastructure and shadowed alleys, lay the heart of the Neon Shadows territory. Mars cut the engine and let the bike glide to a silent stop outside a derelict warehouse, its exterior marred by decades of neglect and defiance. This was where Alia was last traced, according to the task force's surveillance, a network of spider-like drones that patrolled the city's underbelly. The building's once grand facade was now an amalgamation of rust and graffiti, a testament to its current occupants' resilience and rebellious spirit. He stepped off the bike, his cybernetic limbs moving with an almost eerie fluidity, and scanned the area. The heads-up display integrated into his vision highlighted several potential points of entry and marked the positions of armed sentries. Mars took a deep breath, feeling the familiar hum of his implants synchronizing with his neural commands. He knew he had to tread carefully. One wrong move could ignite a confrontation he wasn't ready for. Mars activated his cloaking mechanism, a high-tech blend of optics and AI that rendered him nearly invisible to the naked eye and most electronic sensors. Silently, he approached the warehouse, slipping past the sentries with practiced ease. He found a narrow service entrance at the back and deftly bypassed the ancient mechanical lock, slipping inside unnoticed. The interior of the warehouse was a stark contrast to its exterior. State-of-the-art technology and makeshift living quarters coexisted in a chaotic harmony. Mars moved cautiously through the labyrinth of equipment and haphazardly constructed barriers, his augmented senses on high alert. He reached a central hub, where a group of individuals clustered around a holographic table displaying a 3D map of the city. Alia stood at the head, her presence commanding and her eyes sharp as ever. Her cybernetic enhancements were less overt than Mars's, but no less formidable sleek, and integrated seamlessly with her natural form. Mars deactivated his cloaking and stepped into the light, drawing immediate reactions from the group. Weapons were drawn, but Alia held up a hand, halting her followers. "Mars," she said, her voice a blend of surprise and inevitability. "I wondered when you'd show up." He nodded, his gaze locked on hers. "Alia, we need to talk." She motioned for the others to lower their weapons, though their eyes remained wary. "You've got some nerve coming here alone. What do you want?" Mars stepped closer, lowering his voice. "I'm not here to fight. I've uncovered something bigger than both of us. The corporations are behind the recent attacks. They're using cybernetic enhancements to control the population." Alia's eyes narrowed, suspicion and concern warring within them. "And you want my help to stop them?" Mars shook his head. "I don't want your help. I need it. We're fighting the same enemy, Alia. We just have different ways of doing it." She crossed her arms, considering his words. "You expect me to trust you after all this time? After everything?" Mars sighed. "I expect you to trust that we both want the same thing, a future where people are free from corporate control." A tense silence filled the room as the implications of Mars's revelation sank in. Alia's followers exchanged uncertain glances, the weight of the decision resting heavily on her shoulders. Finally, Alia spoke, her voice resolute. "All right, Mars. We'll work together for now. But if you betray us, there will be no second chances." Mars nodded, a flicker of relief in his eyes. "Agreed. We'll take them down together." As they began to plan their next move, the tension between them began to thaw, replaced by a tentative alliance forged in the fires of their shared history and a common enemy. In the shadows of New Detroit, an unexpected partnership was born, one that held the potential to reshape the future of their city. Chapter 2: Unseen Threads. Mars and Alia sat around the holographic table, the city's map casting an ethereal glow on their faces. The tension between them had eased, but it was clear there was still a deep well of unresolved issues. Their conversation was focused and driven by necessity, but the undercurrent of their shared past was impossible to ignore. "So, where do we start?" Alia asked, leaning forward. "What's our first move?" Mars tapped a section of the map, highlighting a series of interconnected corporate buildings. "We need to cut off their control systems. These buildings house the central servers that manage the city's cybernetic implants. If we can disable them, we can disrupt their surveillance and control." Alia nodded thoughtfully. "All right, but it won't be easy. Security in those areas is tight. We'll need a solid plan and a team that can execute it flawlessly. Mars glanced at the group of neon shadows surrounding them. Your people are skilled. We'll need their expertise to get past the defenses. Alia's gaze hardened. We're not expendable assets, Mars. Every one of us has something to lose. You'd better remember that. He met her eyes, understanding the weight of her words. I do. We all do. They spent the next few hours meticulously planning their assault. Mars's tactical knowledge combined with Alia's intimate understanding of the city's underbelly formed a powerful strategy. By dawn, they had a clear plan, a multi-pronged attack on the corporate servers, coordinated to maximize disruption and minimize risk. As the group disbanded to prepare, Alia pulled Mars aside. There's something you need to know. I've been hearing rumors about a new player in town. Someone with serious resources and no apparent allegiance. They call him the Architect. Mars frowned. The Architect? What's his angle? Alia shrugged. Unknown. But if he's got the kind of power the rumors suggest, he could either be a valuable ally or a formidable enemy. Mars considered this new information. I'll keep an ear out. We can't afford any surprises. Alia nodded, a shadow of worry passing over her face. Just be careful, Mars. We're walking a tightrope here. Mars spent the rest of the day prepping his gear and ensuring his implants were in peak condition. His mind was a whirlwind of plans and contingencies, but thoughts of Alia kept creeping in. Their history was a tangle of shared dreams and painful memories, and he couldn't shake the feeling that their paths were intertwined in ways he didn't yet understand. As night fell, the team assembled in a nondescript garage in the Rust district. Mars and Alia briefed them one last time, emphasizing the importance of coordination and caution. They split into 3 teams, each tasked with infiltrating a different building. Mars's team approached their target under the cover of darkness. His augmented vision scanned for threats as they moved through the shadows. They reached the building's perimeter, where Mars hacked into the security system, creating a temporary blind spot for them to slip through. Inside, the air was cool and sterile, a stark contrast to the grimy streets outside. They moved silently, avoiding patrols and automated defenses. Mars led the way, his cybernetic enhancements giving him an edge in both speed and perception. They reached the server room without incident. Mars connected a device to the main terminal, initiating the virus Alia had designed to cripple the system. The progress bar inched forward agonizingly slowly, each second feeling like an eternity. Suddenly, Mars's sensors picked up movement. We've got company, he whispered, drawing his weapon. A squad of corporate security guards burst into the room, guns blazing. The team sprang into action, returning fire and taking cover behind the servers. Mars's enhanced reflexes allowed him to take out several guards with pinpoint accuracy, but they kept coming. The virus finally completed its upload, and Mars shouted, "We're done here. Fall back." The team fought their way out, the building now in chaos as alarms blared and systems shut down. They regrouped outside, breathless but triumphant. The other teams had reported similar success. As they retreated to their safe house, Mars couldn't shake the feeling that this victory was just the beginning. The corporations would retaliate, and the Architect's shadow loomed large. But for the first time in a long while, he felt a glimmer of hope. Together, they had taken the first step towards reclaiming their city. Mars looked at Alia, who was speaking to her followers with a mix of resolve and pride. Their partnership was fragile, but it was a start. And in a city like New Detroit, Sometimes a start was all you needed. Chapter 3: The Final Stand. The first rays of dawn cut through the dense haze over New Detroit, casting long shadows across the cityscape. In the Rust District, the Neon Shadows safe house buzzed with the energy of their recent victory, but the sense of urgency was palpable. Mars and Alia knew the corporations would not take this attack lying down. Mars stood on the rooftop, surveying the city. His cybernetic enhancements allowed him to zoom in on distant buildings, and he watched as corporate drones scoured the streets below, likely searching for their hideout. He heard the soft footfall of Alia behind him before she spoke. "They're mobilizing faster than we expected," she said, her voice tinged with concern. "We need to move." Mars nodded, his jaw set in determination. "We have to hit them hard and fast before they can regroup. We've shaken them, but we need to break them." Alia studied him for a moment, her eyes reflecting the same resolve. "There's something else. One of our scouts spotted a convoy heading towards the central corporate tower. It's heavily guarded. We think the architect might be there." Mars's gaze snapped to hers. "The architect? If he's involved, we need to intercept that convoy. This might be our only chance to figure out his role in all of this." Alia nodded. "Agreed. I'll rally the troops. We'll split into 2 teams, one to create a diversion, and one to intercept the convoy within the hour the Neon Shadows were ready." Mars and Alia led the strike team, while a secondary team prepared to launch an assault on a nearby corporate facility to draw attention away from their true target. As they approached the convoy's projected route, Mars's augmented senses picked up the low hum of engines. They took positions along the street, hidden from view, but ready to spring into action. The convoy appeared, a line of armored vehicles flanked by drones. Mars signaled to Alia, and the team moved. A well-placed EMP grenade disabled the lead drone, causing a chain reaction that sent the convoy into disarray. The Neon Shadows emerged from their hiding spots, engaging the corporate security forces with precision and ferocity. Mars's cybernetic limbs moved with lightning speed, his enhanced strength and reflexes making him a formidable force. Alia fought beside him, her own enhancements a blur of lethal efficiency. They made their way to the central vehicle, which they suspected housed the architect. With the outer defenses neutralized, Mars approached the vehicle, his weapon at the ready. He wrenched the door open, revealing a figure clad in sleek, high-tech armor. The architect's face was obscured by a visor, but his presence exuded a chilling calm. "Well done, Mars," the architect said, his voice modulated by a synthetic filter. "I've been expecting you." Mars leveled his weapon. "Who are you? What's your game?" The architect raised his hands in a gesture of peace. "I am not your enemy, Mars. In fact, we have a common goal: to free this city from corporate tyranny. I've been watching you and Alia, admiring your tenacity." Alia stepped forward, her eyes blazing with suspicion. "Then why work for them? Why help them oppress us?" The architect removed his visor, revealing a face that was surprisingly young and strikingly familiar. Mars's eyes widened in shock. "Leon," he whispered, recognizing his younger brother, who he believed had died years ago. Leon smiled sadly. "I didn't die, Mars. I was taken by the corporations, experimented on, enhanced. They tried to break me, to make me one of them. But I've been fighting from the inside, waiting for the right moment to strike." Mars lowered his weapon, conflicting emotions warring within him. "Why didn't you contact me? Why all the secrecy?" Leon's expression hardened. I couldn't risk it. They watch everything, control everything. But now, with your help, we can bring them down from the inside. Alia glanced between the brothers, her mind racing. If we're going to trust you, we need to know your plan. Leon nodded. The central corporate tower is the key. It houses the primary AI that controls the city's surveillance and cybernetic systems. If we can take it offline, we can cripple their operations. Mars and Alia exchanged a glance. This was their chance to deliver a decisive blow. We'll do it, Mars said. But no more secrets. We do this together. Leon extended his hand, and Mars clasped it firmly. The three of them, united by a common cause and a shared history, prepared for the final assault. The journey to the central tower was fraught with danger, but their combined skills and determination saw them through. As they breached the tower's defenses, the magnitude of their task became clear. The AI core was protected by layers of security and heavily armed guards. In the heart of the tower, they faced the final challenge. The AI core was a towering construct of shimmering light and humming machinery. Leon began the shutdown sequence, while Mars and Alia fended off waves of corporate enforcers. As the shutdown sequence reached its climax, the AI's voice echoed through the chamber, a cold, calculating tone. You cannot win. The system is too entrenched. Mars fired at the approaching guards, his resolve unshaken. We'll see about that. With a final command, Leon initiated the shutdown. The AI core flickered, its light dimming as the systems powering the city's oppression went dark. Silence fell over the chamber, broken only by the distant sounds of a city waking to a new dawn. Mars, Alia, and Leon stood together, battered but victorious. The corporations had lost their grip, and the people of New Detroit had a chance at true freedom. As they emerged from the tower, the first light of day illuminated the city in a way Mars had never seen before. It was a new beginning, a chance to rebuild and reclaim what had been lost. Mars looked at Alia and Leon, feeling a renewed sense of purpose. They had faced the darkness together and emerged stronger for it. The road ahead would be long and challenging, but for the first time, they had hope. In the heart of New Detroit, amidst the ruins of a broken system, the spirit of resilience and resistance burned brighter than ever. Mars knew their fight was far from over, but with allies like Alia and Leon by his side, he was ready to face whatever the future held. Together, they would forge a new path, one where humanity and technology coexisted in harmony, and the voices of the people rose to shape their own destiny. The neon shadows had become a beacon of hope, and their light would guide New Detroit into a brighter future. Chapter 4: The Aftermath. The first light of dawn revealed the crumbling facade of New Detroit, yet to Mars, Alia, and Leon, it held the promise of a new beginning. The trio descended from the corporate tower, their steps echoing with the weight of their victory and the uncertainty of what lay ahead. The city's underbelly, once shrouded in fear and oppression, now buzzed with whispers of rebellion and hope. As they reached the street, Mars's comlink buzzed with updates from the neon shadows. The corporate facilities, now devoid of their AI's omnipresent gaze, were in chaos. Employees, unsure of their allegiance without their digital overseer, vacillated between fleeing and seeking amnesty from the rising insurgent force. "What's the status on the other teams?" Mars asked, his voice betraying both exhaustion and determination. Alia scanned her own comlink. Team Beta successfully hit the secondary targets. They're reporting minimal resistance now. Corporate security forces are in disarray. Leon, still grappling with the surreal turn of events, spoke up. We need to move quickly. The corporations will try to re-establish control, and there's bound to be internal power struggles. This is our window to consolidate our gains. Mars nodded, his thoughts already racing ahead. We need to set up a temporary command center and start organizing the city's districts. We can't let this devolve into chaos. Alia, ever the strategist, began issuing orders through her comlink. All units regroup at the Rust District safe house. We're setting up a central hub for coordination. And get the word out. Any corporate personnel seeking asylum or willing to defect will be granted protection. As they made their way through the city, the impact of their actions became more evident. People emerged cautiously from their homes, drawn by the unusual quiet and the sight of the once menacing corporate drones now lifeless on the ground. A sense of cautious optimism began to spread. At the Rust District safe house, the atmosphere was electric. Neon Shadows members hustled to and fro, setting up communication arrays, distributing supplies, and welcoming new recruits. Mars, Alia, and Leon entered the command room, greeted by cheers and expressions of relief. "All right, everyone," Mars began, his voice cutting through the din. "We've won a significant battle, but the war isn't over. We need to secure our position and start rebuilding this city. We've taken down the AI, but the corporations are still out there. They'll regroup and strike back if we give them the chance." Alia stepped forward, her presence commanding attention. "Our first priority is stabilizing the city. We need to ensure essential services are maintained and protect the people from any potential corporate retaliation. We'll also begin outreach to other factions and resistance groups. Unity is our strength now." Leon, still adapting to his new role among the Neon Shadows, added, "We also have a unique opportunity to dismantle the corporate infrastructure from within. With the AI offline, their data networks are vulnerable. We can expose their secrets, their corruption, and rally more people to our cause." As the plan took shape, the Neon Shadows sprang into action. Teams were dispatched to secure key infrastructure points, while others began working on intercepting corporate communications. Leon's insider knowledge proved invaluable, allowing them to navigate the labyrinthine corporate systems with precision. Throughout the day, reports flowed in from across New Detroit. Acts of defiance blossomed as ordinary citizens, inspired by the Neon Shadows' victory, took to the streets to reclaim their neighborhoods. Makeshift barricades were erected, and former corporate strongholds were repurposed as community centers. Mars, Alia, and Leon worked tirelessly, coordinating efforts and addressing crises as they arose. As night fell, the cityscape glowed not with the oppressive neon of corporate advertisements, but with the warm lights of a community coming together. In a rare moment of respite, the trio found themselves on the rooftop of the safe house, looking out over the transformed city. The air was filled with the sounds of rebuilding, of hope rekindled. "We did it," Mars said quietly. The weight of their accomplishments settling in, Alia leaned against the railing, her eyes scanning the horizon. "This is just the beginning. We've given the people a chance, but there's a lot of work ahead." Leon, standing between them, felt a deep sense of purpose. "We have to be vigilant. The corporations won't stay down for long, but we've shown that we can fight back, that we can win." Mars placed a hand on his brother's shoulder. "We'll face whatever comes next together." The neon shadows are more than just a resistance now. We're the future of New Detroit. As dawn broke over the city once more, it illuminated a landscape forever changed. The neon shadows had cast a light in the darkness, and now they stood ready to guide New Detroit into a new era of freedom and possibility. In the heart of the Rust District, amidst the hum of renewed life, Mars, Alia, and Leon made a silent vow. They would protect this fragile hope, nurture it, and ensure that the sacrifices made were never forgotten. Together, they would build a city where humanity and technology could coexist in harmony, and where the light of justice would never be extinguished. Chapter 5. The Tempest Unleashed. The sky over New Detroit was a deep gray, heavy with the promise of a storm. Mars, Alia, and Leon stood in the makeshift command center, surrounded by the organized chaos of the neon shadows. Maps of the city were pinned to the walls, covered in strategic markings and scribbled notes. The atmosphere was tense, but charged with a sense of purpose. Alia looked up from her comlink, her expression grave. Corporate remnants are regrouping faster than we anticipated. They're pulling resources from their satellite bases and consolidating forces in the industrial sector. Mars clenched his fists. We need to hit them before they can strike us. If they regain control, all our efforts will be for nothing. Leon, who had been studying the maps, pointed to a series of red circles. These are their key positions. If we can take out their communication hubs and disrupt their supply lines, we can cripple their ability to coordinate. Alia nodded, her mind racing through the logistics. We'll need multiple teams. Mars, you take a strike team to the main hub. Leon and I will handle the supply routes. We need precision and speed. No room for error. The trio quickly mobilized their forces, each of them slipping into their roles with practiced efficiency. Mars led his team through the narrow alleyways, their footsteps muffled by the distant rumble of thunder. The city was eerily quiet, the usual hustle and bustle replaced by an uneasy calm. As they approached the hub, Mars signaled for his team to halt. The building was heavily guarded, with corporate soldiers patrolling the perimeter. Mars scanned the defenses, formulating a plan. We go in quiet, take out the guards, then breach the building. No alarms. The team moved like shadows, slipping through the darkness with lethal precision. Mars took down the first guard with a swift strike, while his teammates dispatched the others in a coordinated assault. They reached the entrance without a sound, and Mars signaled for the breach. The door exploded inward, and the team stormed the building. Inside, the corporate personnel were caught off guard, scrambling to respond. Mars's team cut through the resistance with ruthless efficiency, securing the control room within minutes. Mars approached the central console, his fingers flying over the controls as he initiated a data wipe and jammed the remaining channels. Meanwhile, Alia and Leon led their own teams through the industrial sector, targeting the supply routes. Alia's tactical brilliance shone as she directed her team, using diversionary tactics to draw out the corporate forces, while Leon's intimate knowledge of the area allowed them to strike with pinpoint accuracy. Explosions rocked the sector as key supply depots were destroyed and corporate convoys were ambushed. Leon moved through the chaos with a sense of purpose, leading his team in a relentless assault that left the corporate forces in disarray. Back at the hub, Mars received an urgent message from Alia. Mars, we've got intel that a corporate task force is heading your way. They're heavily armed and determined to retake the hub. You need to hold your position until we can reinforce you. Mars gritted his teeth. Understood. We'll dig in and prepare for their arrival. Stay safe out there. The storm broke over New Detroit as the first corporate reinforcements arrived. Lightning flashed across the sky, illuminating the battlefield in stark relief. Mars and his team fortified their positions, preparing for the onslaught. The corporate task force hit them with full force, a relentless wave of soldiers and drones. Mars barked orders, directing his team's fire with deadly precision. The air was filled with the roar of gunfire and the crackle of energy weapons, the storm's fury echoing their battle. Despite being outnumbered, Mars's team held their ground, repelling wave after wave of attackers. The building shook with the impact of explosions, but Mars refused to yield. He moved through the chaos like a force of nature, his resolve unwavering. Just as the situation seemed dire, reinforcements arrived. Alia and Leon led their teams in a flanking maneuver, striking the corporate forces from behind. The combined assault turned the tide, and the corporate task force was swiftly overwhelmed. Mars stood amidst the wreckage, his breath coming in heavy gasps. Alia and Leon joined him, their expressions grim but determined. "We did it," Leon said, his voice barely audible over the storm. Alia nodded, her eyes fierce. "This was just the beginning. They'll keep coming, but we've shown them we won't back down. We'll fight for every inch of this city." Mars looked out over the rain-soaked streets, the flickering lights of New Detroit reflecting the resilience of its people. "We'll rebuild, stronger and more united. This city will be ours, and we'll ensure a future where freedom isn't just a dream." As the storm raged on, the neon shadows stood defiant, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. The battle for New Detroit was far from over, but their spirit was unbroken. They had lit a spark of hope, and now they would fan it into a blaze that would illuminate the path to a new dawn. Chapter 6. New Detroit. The storm had passed, leaving New Detroit drenched and silent, a city catching its breath. The neon shadows regrouped at the makeshift command center, a palpable sense of victory mingling with the exhaustion in the air. Mars, Alia, and Leon stood at the heart of it all, their expressions hardened by the battle, yet softened by hope. Alia broke the silence first, her voice steady but soft. "We need to maintain our momentum. The corporate remnants are reeling, but we can't let them recover. We push forward, secure the city, and dismantle their influence piece by piece." Mars nodded in agreement. "We've taken out their comm hub and disrupted their supply lines, but there's still much to do. We need to establish control over critical infrastructure and rally the people to our cause." Leon looked around at the faces of their comrades, each one a testament to their shared struggle. "We should hold a council with the leaders of the other resistance groups. Unite our efforts and present a united front. This victory can be the foundation of a new era for New Detroit." As the first light of dawn crept over the horizon, casting long shadows through the city, the neon shadows began their work. They reached out to the disparate resistance cells scattered across New Detroit, calling for a summit. The call was answered with overwhelming support. Representatives from every corner of the city converged at the command center, their numbers swelling with each passing hour. The council convened in an old warehouse, its walls echoing with the fervent discussions of the resistance leaders. Alia took the floor, her presence commanding the room. "Today marks a turning point in our fight. We've struck a significant blow against our oppressors, but this is only the beginning. We need a coordinated strategy to ensure the freedom of our city and its people. Mars stepped forward, his voice carrying the weight of his resolve. We propose the establishment of a provisional government, one that represents the will of the people and ensures that no single entity can ever hold the power to oppress us again. We'll work together to rebuild New Detroit to create a society that values justice, equality, and freedom. Leon laid out the framework for their new governance. We'll form committees to address the immediate needs of our city: security, infrastructure, and welfare. Each committee will be led by representatives from our various factions, ensuring that every voice is heard and every community is served. The council erupted into a chorus of agreement and debate, the leaders passionately discussing the details of their new governance. Hours passed, and by the time the sun was high in the sky, they had reached a consensus. A provisional government was established, with Mars, Alia, and Leon at its helm, supported by a diverse assembly of representatives. As the council disbanded, Mars addressed the gathered crowd outside. Today, we stand as one. We've fought side by side, bled together, and now we will rebuild together. This city belongs to its people, and we will ensure that it thrives. The crowd erupted in cheers, a wave of renewed hope and determination washing over them. The neon shadows had not only won a battle, but had ignited a movement that would reshape New Detroit. In the weeks that followed, the city buzzed with activity. The neon shadows and their allies worked tirelessly to restore order, repair infrastructure, and provide for those in need. The streets, once filled with fear and despair, now pulsed with the energy of renewal and resilience. Mars, Alia, and Leon found themselves at the center of this transformation, their leadership guiding the city through its most challenging period. They held frequent councils, ensuring transparency and inclusivity in their decisions. The people of New Detroit began to believe in the possibility of a brighter future. One evening, as the sun set over the revitalized city, casting a warm glow over the skyline, Mars, Alia, and Leon stood together atop a rebuilt skyscraper. They looked out over the city they had fought so hard to save, their hearts filled with a sense of accomplishment and anticipation. Alia smiled, her eyes reflecting the city's lights. We've come so far, but there's still much to do. This is only the beginning of our journey. Mars nodded, his gaze steady. We'll face whatever comes next together. This city is our home, and we'll protect it with everything we have. Leon placed a hand on Mars's shoulder, his voice filled with conviction. New Detroit is more than a place. It's a symbol of our resilience and our hope. We've shown the world what can be achieved when people stand united. As darkness fell, the lights of New Detroit shone brightly, a beacon of hope and defiance. The neon shadows stood ready to face the future, their bond forged in the fires of battle and strengthened by their shared vision. Together, they had sparked a revolution. Now they would build a legacy.